In 2011, Nissan sold you a 73-mile electric car for over $32,000. In 2026, they're launching this, 303-mile electric times crossover times for under $30,000. This isn't just an upgrade. This is Nissan's public apology. An apology for the 3 deadly sins that killed the original legend and betrayed its first, most loyal customers. I'm talking about batteries that cooked themselves to death, road trips that turned into logistical nightmares, and a charging plug that was left to die. If you were one of those early adopters, you know the pain. And if you've ever been burned by a product that overpromised and underdelivered, hit that like button. I want to see how many of us there are. The new 2026 Leaf is Nissan's one shot at redemption. They claim they went back and fixed every single one of those sins. But is this a true comeback or just a new package hiding the same old problem? By the end of this deep dive, you will know the truth. We'll break down the failures, the fixes, and the ruthless market strategy that makes this car either the undisputed king of affordable EVs or a trap you absolutely must avoid. To understand the rebirth, you have to understand the fall. For years, the Leaf was the most important EV in the world, but its legacy is built on 3 catastrophic mistakes. The engineers on the first and second gen Leaf made a choice. To save money, they used a passive, air-cooled battery. Think of it like trying to cool a high-performance computer with just a tiny fan. In mild weather, it was barely okay, but in a hot climate, like Arizona or Texas, it was a death sentence. The battery cells would literally bake, and owners watched in horror as their range just disappeared. We saw data showing degradation rates of over 4% a year, nearly double that of a liquid-cooled Tesla from the same era. Your 80-mile car quickly became a 60-mile car, then a 50-mile car. Your investment was evaporating in the heat. This is where the mechanical flaw became a personal nightmare. The air-cooled battery couldn't handle heat from driving times and times heat from fast charging. So, the car's software would protect itself by aggressively, brutally slashing your charging speeds. Imagine this road trip. You drive 150 miles and stop to charge. Your first charge is okay, maybe you see 80 kilowatts. You drive another 150 miles and stop again. This time, the overheated battery only lets you charge at 45 kilowatts. By your third stop, you're crawling at a pathetic 20 kilowatts. A 5-hour drive would turn into a 10-hour ordeal of waiting and frustration. The car actively punished you for using it as, well, a car. It cemented the Leaf's reputation as a commuter-only vehicle that you dared not take beyond city limits. The Leaf used the CHAdeMO charging plug. In the beginning, it was in a format war with CCS, the standard everyone else was adopting. CHAdeMO lost. It's the Betamax of EV plugs. Today, finding a reliable CHAdeMO charger is a scavenger hunt. The network is shrinking, so even if your battery was healthy and you were willing to suffer through RapidGate, you were driving a car whose public infrastructure was actively disappearing. Okay, so that was the past. A legacy of failure. The 2026 Leaf represents a total reset. It starts with the foundation. This is no longer the bubbly hatchback you remember. It is a sharp, modern crossover built on the exact same sophisticated architecture as Nissan's much more expensive Ariya EV, the CMF-EV platform. This is the most crucial decision they made. Building on a dedicated premium EV platform instead of a modified gas car chassis changes everything. For you, it means 2 huge immediate benefits. First, look inside. The floor is completely, genuinely flat. This platform was designed around the battery from day one, which allows for incredible packaging. It makes the cabin feel spacious, open, and far more modern than its price tag suggests. Second, and maybe more important for the daily drive, is the suspension. The old Leaf used a cheap, basic torsion beam in the rear. The new Leaf, because it shares its DNA with the Ariya, gets a sophisticated multi-link rear suspension. Usually only find this on more expensive, premium vehicle. What that feels like for you is a calmer, more controlled ride. It handles bumpy roads without unsettling the car and feels more agile and planted in corners. It's a night and day difference in ride quality. Of course, they also boosted the power. The base model gets 174 horsepower, but the larger battery option gives you 214 horsepower and nearly 261 pound-feet of instant torque. It launches to 60 inches under 7 seconds. It's not a performance EV, but it has that satisfying, immediate punch that makes city driving and highway merging effortless. A better body, a better platform, a better ride, all great, but completely useless if they didn't fix the core sins. This is the redemption story. The cornerstone of the entire comeback is this. The 2026 Leaf finally has a liquid-cooled and thermally managed battery pack. Think of it like a proper radiator system for the battery. It actively manages the temperature, keeping the cells in their optimal range, whether it's 100 degrees in Phoenix or 10 degrees in Chicago. This one change kills the degradation issue. It preserves your range and your investment. The new architecture allows for 2 battery sizes, with the big one, a 7.5 kilowatt-hour pack, giving the Leaf an official EPA estimated range of 303 miles. That number is not an accident. Crossing the 300-mile barrier is a massive psychological win. It instantly validates the Leaf as a legitimate road trip vehicle. Because the battery is now liquid-cooled, it can handle sustained high-speed charging. Rapid gate is dead. Period. And to deliver that charge, Nissan has made the single smartest move possible. They ditched the obsolete CHAdeMO plug and equipped the new Leaf with the NACS connector. Yes, that means out of the box, you have access to the largest, most reliable charging network on the planet, the Tesla Supercharger network. No more hunting for broken chargers. No more plug and pray, it just works. Charging speeds hitting up to 150 kilowatts, you can now realistically go from 10% to 80% in about 35 minutes. That is a definitive, absolute end to the road trip nightmare. But they added one more thing, a feature often reserved for much more expensive EVs, vehicle to load or V2L. There's a plug that lets you use the car's massive battery to power external devices. Think about it. You can run your entire campsite, power your tools, or even provide critical backup power to your home essentials during a blackout. It's an incredibly useful feature that adds a huge amount of real-world value. Okay, it drives well, the battery is finally fixed, and it has supercharger access. So, for a starting price of under $30,000, where's the catch? The inside must be cheap, right? Well, this is where Nissan got really clever with their budget. They spent the money where you see and touch it most. You get these massive dual 14.3-inch screens as the centerpiece. They look incredible. The system has Google built in, which means Google Maps and Google Assistant run natively. It's fast, familiar, and works perfectly. They also included their full Nissan Safety Shield 360 suite on every single model. That's a huge win for safety. So where did they save the money? Look down. The lower door panels and some parts of the center console are made of hard, scratchy plastic. Some of the buttons below the screen feel a bit lightweight. It's not a luxury car, and these are the places that remind you of its price tag. And there's one more thing that will divide EV enthusiasts, the e-pedal step system. While it gives you strong regenerative braking, it does not allow for true one-pedal driving. The car will always creep forward at low speeds instead of coming to a complete stop without you touching the brake. For drivers coming from a Tesla, a Bolt, or a Mach-E, this might feel like a step backward. It's a feature many have come to love. I want to know from current EV drivers in the comments, is a lack of true one-pedal driving a deal breaker for you? Let me know. This brings us to the final part of the story. The 2026 Leaf isn't just a car, it is a declaration of war. Nissan is using it as a weapon to conquer the affordable EV market. That starting price of $29,990 is the headline. Without needing any federal tax credits, it immediately becomes the lowest priced new EV in the US, a market that offers over 300 miles of range. Let's put that number into the brutal context of its rivals. The Hyundai Kona Electric, it starts at around $33,000, gives you 40 miles times less times range, and its fast charging is about half as fast. The Kia Niro EV, closer to $35,000, 50 miles times less times range, and again, much slower charging. The Chevy Equinox EV offers similar range and charging, but it starts well over $35,000. Nissan has created a value proposition that is incredibly difficult for the competition to beat. But here is the ultimate proof of how committed they are to this strategy. Nissan has announced it is pausing production of its other times electric SUV, the more expensive Aria, for the US market. Think about that. They are sacrificing their premium model, a car they invested billions in, to reallocate all those resources and focus entirely on making the Leaf a massive success. This is a ruthless, all-in corporate gambit. They are exiting the premium EV fight to completely dominate the budget space. This car has times to work. So after all of this, we come back to our original question, is the legend truly back? Yes, unquestionably. But it is a completely different legend now. It is no longer the flawed, struggling pioneer. It is now the clear, calculated, and undisputed value champion of the entire electric vehicle market. Nissan systematically identified every single one of its historical failures: the battery cooling, the agonizingly slow charging, the obsolete plug, the uninspired design, and they executed a fix for every single one. For a price that competes with a gas-powered Honda Civic, you are getting a stylish, modern crossover that offers over 300 miles of range and has seamless access to the best charging network in the country. That combination of price, range, and infrastructure is, right now, unmatched. It may not be the fastest or most exciting EV you can buy, but it is without a doubt one of the smartest. But that brings me to the final polarizing question for you in the comments. After a decade of broken promises and burned early adopters, has Nissan truly done enough to earn back your trust? Or is this just a great deal from a company you're not sure you can rely on? Let the debate begin. If this deep dive helped you understand the new Leaf, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button for more breakdowns just like this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.